The WNBA just hit a breaking point. What was supposed to be a dream matchup between Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers turned into a national embarrassment, not because of the players, but because of the refs. Millions tuned in expecting a showcase of talent. What they got instead: missed calls, non-stop fouling, and a superstar getting battered with no protection. And now, the backlash is everywhere. ESPN's calling it out. Players are fed up. And the Washington Post just said the league's new logo should be a bruise. Caitlin Clark is injured again. The fans are furious. And suddenly, even the commissioner is in the crosshairs. This isn't just about one bad game. This is about the WNBA standing on the edge of collapse, and no one knows if they'll fix it in time. Let me show you how it got this bad and why the league might not survive it. The Caitlin Clark vs. Paige Bueckers matchup was supposed to be the crown jewel of the WNBA season. To generational stars, national TV, over 2 million people watching. This was the moment the league had been building toward, a perfect opportunity to show the world that women's basketball had officially arrived. But that's not what people walked away talking about, because instead of watching two of the best young players trade buckets in a clean, competitive game, fans were treated to something else entirely: a referee disaster in real time. Whistles stayed silent while players got shoved, grabbed, and hacked on nearly every possession. Caitlin Clark was fighting through double teams and forearms to the face without a single foul being called. Paige Bueckers, known for her sharp footwork and clean defense, was getting beat up off the ball and couldn't even get a call when she was shoved mid-dash drive. The internet lit up. Fans weren't just confused, they were angry. Commentators didn't even try to hide it anymore. This wasn't a showcase. This was a crisis, and what happened next made it clear. The refs weren't just bad, they were out of control. Because if they couldn't even keep things in check with their two biggest stars on the floor, what hope did the rest of the league have? But that was just the beginning. The real firestorm started when someone who usually stays quiet finally snapped. Rebecca Lobo isn't one to hold back, but even her criticism caught everyone off guard. During the broadcast, she didn't just complain, she ripped the referees to shreds. Comparing their calls to a failing math test, she said it bluntly: wrong, 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 F-. Her disbelief was clear. How could the officials let the game get so out of control, especially when it was the league's face, Caitlin Clark, being roughed up every single possession with no whistle? And it wasn't just Lobo. Her broadcast partner revealed something even more shocking. Paige Bueckers, a player known for her clean, smart defense, had to relearn how to foul more just to keep up. The defensive fundamentals she mastered tossed out the window because the refs wouldn't call the obvious fouls anymore. Think about that for a second. A top athlete forced to change how she plays defense, not to get better, but to cheat the system because the system itself was broken. Fans started noticing too. Social media exploded with slow-motion clips showing the endless grabbing, holding, and pushing that went uncalled. It wasn't subtle, it wasn't rare. It was happening every game, every quarter, every minute. Suddenly, what was once a whispered complaint became impossible to ignore. The WNBA's officiating wasn't just bad, it was dangerous. But the problem ran deeper than just one bad game or two outspoken commentators. The whole league was feeling the impact, and what came next only made it worse. This isn't just about Caitlin Clark getting roughed up or a couple of missed calls on national TV. The problem runs through every team and every game. Players all over the league have spoken out quietly and sometimes loudly about the brutality on the court. Scratches, bruises, and blatant fouls are being ignored by officials at an alarming rate. One coach even admitted telling his players to play as physical as possible because the refs simply won't call it. That's not basketball. That's a free dash for dash all. And it's not just fans and coaches complaining behind the scenes. The evidence is there in every slow-motion replay. The clutching, grabbing, and pushing have become normalized. The league's own stars are constantly battling through contact that would draw whistles in any other pro league, yet here, it's just part of the game. Some players get called for minor fouls, while others get away with near assaults. The Inconsistency is maddening and frustrating for everyone involved. What started as frustration with refereeing has turned into a full-blown crisis of player safety and fairness. And when the league's biggest star finally lost it on a ref snapping at him on live TV, it was a clear sign that something had to give. But that moment wasn't the end, it was the start of something far bigger. In one recent game against the Sun, the tension boiled over. Caitlin Clark was calmly talking with a referee trying to keep her cool, but then suddenly lost it, firing back with a sharp, "Are you effing kidding me?" That outburst shocked many, but anyone watching closely could guess why. The ref had likely dismissed a clear foul or said something dismissive. Remember, players like Gabby Williams have talked about refs laughing off their complaints. The disrespect runs deep, and just moments later, Clark suffered another injury. Her brother didn't hold back, blaming the officials publicly, sparking a firestorm online. Fans rallied around Clark, demanding better protection, accountability, and fairness. But the real shock came from the media. The Washington Post released an article that tore into the league like a wildfire, starting with the brutal headline, "The WNBA should change its logo to a bruise." That article wasn't just commentary, it laid bare the harsh truth. Since the season began, there have been 141 injuries among just 179 players. That's nearly every player getting hurt, and it's not a coincidence. This wasn't just a game problem, it was a league-wide emergency. And suddenly, the spotlight wasn't just on the refs anymore, it was on the leadership. On Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, and on whether she even cared enough to act. The Washington Post didn't hold back. From the very first line, the article laid bare just how bad things have gotten, suggesting the WNBA's logo be replaced with a picture of a bruise. It wasn't just dramatic wording. The facts were staggering. 141 injuries since the season's start, in a league with only 179 players. That means nearly every athlete is getting hurt at an alarming rate. The article called out the league's leadership, pointing fingers directly at Commissioner Kathy Engelbert for dismissing the growing crisis. Fans, players, and sponsors are all asking the same question: why hasn't anything changed? This media backlash isn't just noise, it's a wake-up call. Advertisers are nervous, broadcasters are paying attention, and the fans, they're tired of watching their favorite players get battered without consequence. The WNBA is at a crossroads, and the public pressure is mounting like never before. The question is, will the league listen before it's too late? But for now, Engelbert remains in the hot seat, dodging tough questions while the calls for reform grow louder every day. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert has faced a storm of criticism, but so far, her responses have done little to calm the chaos. She's brushed off complaints as typical winning team versus losing team gripes, a tired excuse that just doesn't hold up anymore. Coaches and players alike aren't buying it. The examples keep piling up. In the 2024 finals, a phantom foul call helped the Liberty steal the championship from the Lynx in overtime. Afterward, Lynx coach Cheryl Reeve didn't mince words, calling the officiating incompetent and insisting the game was outright stolen. And it's not an isolated incident. During this season's Fever vs. Liberty matchups, refs made multiple questionable calls or glaring non-calls that directly influenced the outcomes. When players on the court like A'ja Wilson seem to get away with everything in some games, it only adds fuel to the fire. Fans expect fairness, players expect safety. But what they're getting is confusion and frustration. Engelbert's failure to step up and demand accountability has many wondering, is the league's leadership out of touch? And if she won't fix the problem, who will? The WNBA's credibility hangs in the balance, and the commissioner's seat has never been. Caitlin Clark isn't just a star, she's the heart and soul of the WNBA right now. Before the season, she had an ironclad record, 0 missed games due to injury. Then everything changed. Clark put on muscle in the off-season, not just to get stronger, but to survive the brutal, unchecked physicality she faces every game. The refs weren't going to protect her, so she had to protect herself. But even that wasn't enough. She's been sidelined 3 times this season with injuries serious enough to keep her off the court. Her absence hit the league hard. The All-Star Game, which should have been the Caitlin Clark show, felt dull and lacked energy. Ratings dropped sharply. Fans began to question if the league could thrive without its brightest star. Some are now calling for Clark to sit out the rest of the season, both to heal and to send a message about the danger of the current officiating. Others want her to take her talents overseas or even start her own league. The fact that fans are openly talking about abandoning the WNBA speaks volumes about how desperate the situation has become. Without Clark, the league's spotlight dims, and with it, the hope for growth, excitement, and financial stability. The pressure isn't just on the players anymore, it's on the league to save its future. It's no secret, without Caitlin Clark, the WNBA struggles to fill seats or draw viewers. Stars like Angel Reese and Nafessa Collier have loyal followings, but they haven't come close to matching Clark's pull. Even big arenas like Wintrust Arena are seeing empty seats when she's out. The fallout isn't just about fans. The league's collective bargaining agreement (CBA) talks have stalled, and the players' leverage has crumbled. They've even turned to Clark, asking her to join the negotiations, something they never wanted to do. Meanwhile, networks and advertisers are watching closely. The drop in ratings is alarming, and questions are being asked behind closed doors about the WNBA's future profitability. And then there's the NBA. Adam Silver and the league's owners have poured hundreds of millions into the WNBA, banking on stars like Clark to lift it out of the red. Clark's injuries and the officiating mess have them worried and reportedly frustrated, with expansion plans aiming for 2030. This crisis couldn't come at a worse time. Without immediate change, starting with improved officiating, the league risks losing everything: fans, sponsors, and relevance. The clock is ticking. The WNBA's future depends on whether it can fix the broken system before it's too late. The WNBA stands at a crossroads like never before. Caitlin Clark's repeated injuries, the out-of-control officiating, and the rising chorus of criticism from fans, media, and sponsors have created a perfect storm threatening the league's survival. This isn't just about one player or one bad game, it's a systemic failure that risks undoing years of growth and momentum. The commissioner's dismissal of the problem has only fueled the fire, pushing the league closer to a breaking point, but there's still hope. If the WNBA listens, if it commits to NBA-level officiating, prioritizes player safety, and embraces real accountability, it can turn this crisis into a comeback story. Because without change, the bruises won't just be on the court, they'll be on the league itself. The question now is simple: will the WNBA fight for its future, or watch it slip away?